Hello, hello. It's Tuesday Talks at 10:30. Just want to make sure that I can see your comments. Let me know if you're on. I'm using my other phone as well so that I can see comments if they come up. So my name is Stacy Niedenthal, and this is Connecting to Spirit with Stacy. This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30, where we come together every Tuesday at 10:30 and talk about things that are spiritual, talking about grief and death and dying. We talk about meditation, coming back home, finding self again. We just come together and talk about things that maybe are a little uncomfortable to talk about with other people. So let me know when you're on so that I can see who's here. And then we'll get started. Okay. It's been a crazy couple days, huh? Getting close to Christmas, getting close to the end of the year. Just a lot of things going on right now. So just let me know when you're on. And we will, well, I'll go ahead and I'll start with my my intention. So my name is Stacy. I am a child of God. I'm a spiritual healer and I'm a shaman, psychic medium. And I've been given a gift from God to channel spirit using love and light for my higher good and the higher good of those that God puts in my path. I'm not the one who says to you, I see death all around you and you're going to be dead in 10 days. My gift, my prayer is that God, that spirit, that angels bring in the most loving message to help your spirit heal. If you were sitting across from me during a reading, this is part of the intention that you would hear, plus you would hear a little bit more. Since this is not an actual reading, I won't go into all the other information. I've got my puppy here with me, so that's why I keep looking over to the side a little bit. Rebel is new, just got Rebel. I guess it's been a little over a week now since I've had him. Almost 2 weeks, I guess. Goodness. So today we're going to talk about spirit animals and totems and things like that. You hear this all the time in the spiritual world, in mediumship, in the psychic world, in the mystic world, however you want to look at it. And there's a lot of questions about that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, Kim. Let me know who all's on so I can say hi. But I am booking for January right now. I do have gift certificates available if you're interested in gifting a reading to someone or a past life regression or an energy healing. I do have gift certificates available. Just reach out to me and we can get them to you. So January, I'll be in Bel Air the 23rd through the 25th with a group on the 24th. And then back again February 20th to the 22nd with a group on the 21st. And a past life regression on the 26th at the Center for Healing. So those are some things that are coming up. I do have the podcast that's up now. The website is up and running. I'm blogging, so check those out. And I usually am blogging about the things that we talk about on Tuesday Talks at 10:30. So good morning. How's everybody doing today? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what the date is. What is it, like the 12th or the 13th? But we're at that final countdown for Christmas. We're, getting, gifts together, getting decorated. It's, Hanukkah and all these wonderful things that are happening here in the next couple weeks. And Christmas can be very difficult for some. So I just ask that you reach out to your friends and your loved ones who may be having a rough time of it and just, make sure that they're okay, whether this is their first Christmas without their loved one or their 12th Christmas without their loved one. It still can be a difficult time. So, let's talk about spirit animals. So spirit animals are guides that help and protect us through our journey, through our life. They're said to have similar characteristics to who we are. When you were a kid, were you drawn to a specific animal? Were you drawn to something? Some people would collect frogs, or they would collect penguins, or spiders, octopus. Are there certain things that you were drawn to as a kid or that you're drawn to now? I mean, for some reason I've been drawn over the last couple years to flamingos. I just love flamingos. When I was a kid, I would have rolled my eyes at somebody who was drawn to flamingos, right? But there are different animals, and their characteristics are said to help us walk our path in life. It's different things that help us to see other things. It's that journey that we're on right now. So if you want to know like what your spirit animal is, you want to learn about different animals, especially like I said, if you're drawn to certain animals, if you're drawn to the turtle, find out about the turtle. Look at what their spiritual meaning is. Look at what their characteristics are. See if it resonates with you. Paying attention to your dreams. Do you have dreams that there's always a certain animal in, whether it's a wolf or a coyote or a bear or again a turtle or something like that? Look into those animals. Why are they constantly coming up in your dreams? What significance do they have on what's happening to you right now? Think about past connections with certain animals, which we already talked about. And journal about the animal. Journal about it in full detail. You know, how you feel about it, what it says to you. When I think about the flamingo, I mean, it's the color pink, and I was never a pink person, but the color pink of their feathers, and their feathers just seem so soft, and they seem just so, I don't know, almost like they could stand alone and still be seen. And when you see a flamingo, it's standing on one leg, you know, when it's in the water. To me, that's, you know, standing alone, standing strong. That's what that represents to me. You know, it's bigger than a lot of the birds. So it's got that leadership quality to it. So, you know, when I think about the flamingo, these are different things that I think about. Hey, hey, hey. With that. And then I try and put in perspective of how does that resonate with me? Well, strength is very important to me, right? I want to be able to stand out to others because I don't want to be the same as everybody else. And I'm okay with that. You know, when I think about the feathers and how soft they look, you know, you still want to have a soft personality even if you're strong and you're bold. So this is just what I think about when I think about the flamingo. Listing those common traits and things like that. Think about when you started to connect with this animal. So when I think back about when I started to connect with the flamingo, it was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. I was just starting to connect with the universe. I was just starting to like find my way. Sometimes I felt like I needed to stand alone because I would meditate a lot. So I needed that peace and quiet, and I needed to be left alone in order for me to find that clarity within. So when, you know, thinking back to when you started being drawn to this animal and what was going on in your life at that time. There are different animals that are said to be guides and teachers that come in the form of animals to us. You know, the animal kingdom is so beautiful. You know, there's that chain of command, basically. There's the weakest and then there's the strongest. But then when you think about it, is the strongest really the strongest, or do they have a weakness? And is the weakest really the weakest, or is there a strength? And you think about the mouse and you think about the elephant, you know, you would think that the elephant would be the stronger of the two, which, you know, in the animal world definitely is. But the elephant is afraid of a mouse. Well, you know, here's this great big animal with tusks that's afraid of something that's this big, you know, just kind of, you know, traveling through the forest, the jungle, however you want to say it. So when you think about different animals that are out there, the bear represents confidence. Bees are success. Are you drawn to bees and honeybees? You know, since this whole, you know, Save the Bees campaign has come around a couple years ago, because honeybees were starting to get endangered, so many people started being drawn to them. And bees are that sign of happiness and of success because they pollinate. They take something from a flower and they make it into nourishment, right? So that's success, that's happiness. An eagle represents vision. You know, a fox is agility and discernment. What do you have Oh, okay. And you can choose your spirit animal if you want to, um, and study it and see if there's a connection between the two of you, or you can wait for the spirit animal to choose you. And a lot of times that's what is said, that the animal chooses you depending on where you're at in your life, what's going on in your life. And you may feel as if you've chosen it because all of a sudden I'm drawn to the flamingo. But then when I think to myself, well, why was I drawn to the flamingo? That particular animal chose me at this particular time and space. But let's see. So they're in a form of guidance, protection, and wisdom, depending at where you are in your life, which is what I just said. And you can have multiple spirit animals. That's what they call the totem. So the totem is different animals, and whatever is at the top of your totem is like your overseer. So maybe you've got the eagle at the top. So that's the one, the eagle is going to be vision, how you look at things. And it's one of those things where there's no right and there's no wrong. I've found in my connection with my spirituality that so many people will come to me and they'll say, I heard that there's a wrong way to do this and I'm afraid that I'll do it wrong. And I'm true in saying, for my feeling, that if you do things the way that you feel what your intuition is telling you to do, then you're not doing it incorrectly. We get so concerned with the right way to sage and the wrong way to sage, because if we sage the wrong way, then we're going to, cause negative energy to come through. If you're saging your house, and I'm using this as an example, if you're saging your home and you're putting the intention in your home for positive energy in each and every room, then there's no wrong way to do it, right? So it's one of those things where using your intention of how you want your life to look, how you want your intention to be, what you want to manifest, then it can't be wrong. And I feel that's that way with spirit animals as well. If there's a particular animal that you're drawn to, and you're studying it, and you're thinking about it, and you're journaling about it, and then you're dreaming about it, there's a reason why. And it's not wrong. It's telling you or teaching you something or putting you on your path. So hold on, stop. So that's what the spirit animals are about. Here, this is what I keep looking down at. This is Rebel. If you didn't tune in last week, this is my new spirit animal. This is Rebel. He's a Chihuahua. He's about 10 weeks old. This is my new spirit animal, right? And he is teaching me a lot. Why did I go with a puppy? I do not know. I haven't had a puppy in years. I don't regret getting him. Don't get me wrong. But oh my goodness, he's full of energy. So if this is the first time that you've been on, put a 1. Let me know where you're watching from so that we can, personally welcome you if this is the first time. So when you come in to see me for a reading, I take your name and the month and the day of your birth, and not always the month and the day. If you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. And I meditate on you, and I call your guides in, and I call my guides in, and I pull a medicine card on you. And the medicine card is the spirit animal, basically. It lets me know where you're at right now. So I pulled a couple, I grabbed some of my medicine cards just to talk to you a little bit about them, to give you a little bit of a few things to maybe think about when it comes to this. So a lot of people are drawn to dogs, right? So this is the dog medicine card. The dog medicine, that spirit animal represents loyalty, right? When you think about a dog, they're very loyal to their owner. They're very protective of their owner. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that video, and I don't know if it was on TikTok or what it was on, but there's a video of a dog laying on a grave crying because its owner had passed. I mean, that's loyalty to the bitter end. So if you're drawn to the dog, think about how the dog reacts and responds. Think about what's going on right now. Is the dog trying to say to you, you are a very loyal person? Is the dog trying to say to you, you need to be a loyal person? You haven't been very loyal. Look at the people that are around you. Are they loyal to you? So these are things that they teach you in their path. And there's more information on the dog. I'm just kind of going through a few of these quickly. Oh, I see there's some comments and I can't even see them. Good morning, Brandy Joe. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Kim. For some reason on my phone, I can't. That's all right. Not going to complain. So who's drawn to the hummingbird? Right? The hummingbird is an interesting medicine card. The hummingbird represents joy, but it's spurts of joy. Are you one of those people that will just, burst out into laughter about something? It represents putting people together for their better good. With the hummingbird, most hummingbird people have a hard time being coarse with people, have a hard time setting boundaries up, because if they're coarse with people, it tends to take their energy away from them. If someone tells them to calm down, let's say, it tends to take their energy away. When you think about the hummingbird, if you cage the hummingbird will die. So that's what the medicine represents for the hummingbird, allowing your joy, that paradox of bursts of energy, to just for yourself to be comfortable with that and not let anybody else stop that. I don't know if you can hear him growling or not. And then you have the butterfly. The butterfly, for those who are drawn to the butterfly, represents transformation. And you think about, Denise taught me all about, the monarch's transformations. When you're first born, you're cocoon state, basically, or larvae state, and then you're a toddler. We go through all these different transformations as we get older, and it's how we move through that, how we respond, how we react to that, that makes us who we are. So if you are a true butterfly, you don't mind changes. You walk into changes gracefully, and you allow things to be transformed in front of you. Here's the salmon. All right. Are you drawn to the water? Are you drawn to fish? Are you drawn to the ocean? The salmon represents following your own intuition. And when you think about the salmon in the wild, the salmon doesn't have this alarm clock that goes off that says, all right, time to swim upstream and to mate. It just knows it's time to go. It's time to swim upstream. And when you think about how many things that they have to go through, they're swimming upstream, first of all. There's literally hundreds and thousands of them in the water swimming upstream. So they're running into a crowd, basically a traffic jam. There might be some current that's throwing them back. But even if they get thrown back, into the water, they continue to move forward. It's following the intuition. That's what the salmon represents. That even if the path is a little bit different, the outcome is still the same. The grouse represents movement, dance. When you see a grouse, excuse me one second, and you can, oh yes, you can, Brandy, you can hear my growler? Yes, right? My little spirit animal here. So when you think about the grouse, and you can YouTube these animals in the wild and look at them and just kind of, study their movements. The grouse, when it walks, it kind of like kicks its feet up a little bit. And sometimes it kind of zigzags a little bit. So the grouse is all about movement. If you are drawn to the grouse, or if the grouse keeps showing up, that's another thing. Your spirit animal may just keep showing up to you. You may just keep seeing it, whether it's in a dream or you went for a hike, and every time you turn around, oh my gosh, there's a grouse. It signifies, how are you moving through life? What are you thinking about? When you think about the dance, it's this graceful movement. It's connecting with the rhythm. Is your mind, your body, and your spirit all in rhythm together? How are you moving through things? And we talked about the eagle. The eagle represents vision. That bird's eye view. When you see an eagle in the wild, it kind of like hovers around things, right? And it has this graceful flow of the wings again, that flight. So when you think about the eagle, it represents vision. How are you seeing things? Are you seeing things with blinders on? Or do you have that bird's eye view? Are you looking at all the full situation? Or are you just looking at part of it? So if you're drawn to an eagle representing vision, again, you know, just kind of study the eagle out in the wild, how it is. You know, it's very protected. So it would be a protector. It's also, what do you want to call it? I don't know I don't know what the right word is to use for it. Honored. You know, a lot of people, when you see the eagle, you're, oh my gosh, you know, it's almost like it's an honor to see it. So it's staying with, it's having that reputation behind yourself, that you see things for what they are, you see the whole picture, and you honor that. And then you have the spider. The spider represents the circle of life, right? When you think about the spider web, you know, when the spider builds the web, you know, it starts very small, and it works diligently. It works so diligently to have this web made, and it gets, you know, some of these spider webs that I've seen are absolutely beautiful. And I think to myself, my gosh, you built that web overnight, and then somebody's going to come by and just like tear it down, and you have to start all over again. But the spider represents the feminine energy. It's the nurturer. It's expanding, right? Your view, not your view. It's expanding your circle, your how you respond to life, how you look at life. When you think about the web, that represents the circle of life. So if there are things that are in your web that should not be in your web, you get them out of your web, right? If something's in a spider web that whatever doesn't want in the web, it takes it out of the web. Okay? Any questions so far? So then we've got the ant. And the ant is the worker. Think about that. The worker. You know, when you see an ant walking by with this huge crumb of bread, and they all have different jobs to do. You know, when you think about an anthill, one ant did not make that anthill. They all work together as a team. So teamwork is very important. Stop biting me. Teamwork is very important with the ant, but they're all workers. They all prepare. They're all constantly working. And if one's not, you know, it's one of those things that when one ant comes back, another ant goes out. They all work together. And then you have the horse. How many of you are drawn to horses? The horse represents the path that you are traveling. How much weight, how much baggage are you carrying on your back? When you think about the horse, it can carry a lot of weight. But when there's too much weight on the horse's back, or when the horse has something on its back that it no longer wants on its back, it throws up its hooves and it knocks off whatever's on its back. So if the horse is something that you're drawn to right now, what's your path? Where are you going right now? What are you taking with you that you shouldn't? Are you carrying too much of a burden with you? Are you, you know, walking along slowly? Are you trotting? Are you running? Think about all the aspects of the horse. Oh my goodness. All right. The lizard. The lizard is the animal of the dreamer. And when you think about Jim Morrison, when he sang the song about the lizard, you know, he was a lizard king. He's talking about going out in the desert and dreams and visions and things like that. So what's your vision of your life? What are you dreaming about? I'm dreaming that this little guy will let me do my Tuesday talks at 10:30 without eating my necklace. The lizard also represents, what are you pulling behind you? What are you dragging behind you? When the lizard feels like it's in danger or something grabs a hold of it, it loses its tail. So what are you dragging behind you that you need to lose, that is stopping you from your dreams? Let's see here. My favorite and my least favorite is the bat. All right. I have a phobia of bats. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I still have a phobia of them. And the bats, when I first opened up to my spirituality, when I first started channeling, when I first started meditating, the bat kept coming up in my cards. And I would be like, ooh, you know, every time I would see the bat. Or something would come up on Facebook. Oh, look at this cute little bat. And I would think, not at all, not cute at all. Or I would walk outside and a bat would swoop down at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was so afraid of bats. Then I read what the bat represents. So the bat represents like a spiritual death. So that something has to end so that something else can begin. Well, through that time, I was dealing with a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of things that I was still holding on to that I thought that I had worked through, that I needed to allow to die, basically. I needed to walk through it, release it, and no longer let it be part of my life. So when you think about it, it's like that ritualistic death. The death of unforgiveness and walking through forgiveness. The death of worrying about what people think about me and finding that joy in being comfortable with myself. That's what the bat represents. The bat also flies at night, and that's where, when you dream, is at night. So when you have this ritualistic death of those things that no longer serve you, that's when those thoughts, those dreams, those things that you've been wanting to do have a little bit more clarity to you. So when I realized that, my phobia of bats started to decrease. I still don't like bats, and I'm sorry if that offends you and you love bats. I'm not a bat person, but I also know that the bat is part of one of my spiritual totems, because it taught me that there were things that I was still holding on to that I needed to release. Okay. And then there's the whale. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but I just thought I would do, you know, a certain amount. So the whale, if you are, what do you want to call it? If you are drawn to whales, again, here's the water. But whale people have a special type of DNA within them. And the DNA is that sonar. You know, you've heard people talk about the whale song. Whale medicine people usually can hear sounds that no one else can hear. Either very high sounds or very low-pitched sounds. Their hearing is usually very impeccable. And it may not necessarily just be their human hearing, but it's their spiritual healing as well. And what I mean by that is that you can hear things that aren't really said. You can read between the lines when someone's speaking to you. You know when someone's giving you a line of crap, basically. Whale medicine people break through the barriers of the things that stop them. They get into the flow of the ocean, so into the flow of life, and not let anything hold them back. So if you are that one of those people who are drawn to whales, see if that resonates with you, and even look more at what the whale represents. You know, it's the biggest mammal that's in the ocean. So, you know, one would think that this is kind of the king or the queen of the ocean. But it is very slow moving. It can dive very deep. It's huge, but it can also like jump out of the water like crazy. Usually a loner, you know, hardly ever have I heard or seen, and I could be wrong, you know, that there is a team of whales, you know, swimming in the ocean. It's usually, you know, a school of fish or something like that, but you never hear like a school of whales that are flowing together. So, does this make sense to anybody? I just wanted to talk a little bit about spirit animals today. I just thought it was something that would be interesting, especially since we're coming into the new year. We still have a couple weeks until we get there, but something to just kind of think about, like, you know, what animal am I drawn to? And why am I drawn to this animal? What does it represent? It doesn't mean it has to totally encompass you and you always have to, you know, be the dog medicine where you always have to be loyal and you always have to be obedient and you always have to be patient. You know, it comes out in different parts of your life. And when you think about the different phases that you've been in your life, that's when those start to make sense to you. You know, I used to collect bears. And I can't remember what the bear is. Oh, the bear is strength and confidence, you know, and that was when I was younger. And, you know, when I was younger, I always just thought that I was kind of odd. But I always was fairly confident in things that I knew a lot about, or I would figure it out. You know, I'd figure out how to be confident about something. So that was what the bear represented. So when you think back of animals that you've been drawn to, animals that are biting on your arm, you know, when you think about, you know, how do I want to say this? If you're a hiker and you always come up on, I don't know, foxes, you know, what does that represent? Why do I always see a fox? Why, you know, why am I drawn to the fox? Well, you know, the fox is sly and creative. Are you creative? Are you a strategist? You know, if a grouse constantly comes into view for you, stop, 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 stop. I think I just need to hold him up in the air so that he can't get a hold of my sweater. So this is Rebel, right? Maybe I named him wrong. There we go. There's Rebel. He's here. Look, 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 look. Here. There, right? I think I should have called him Pick Me, right? Because he's constantly jumping around once your attention. Pick me, pick me. Ron White did a whole skit about that. That's why I went with there. So back to the spirit animals. So that was just something that I wanted to talk to you about today. If you're drawn to a certain animal or one constantly shows up, you know, just kind of look into it and figure out why that constantly happens. I'm just trying to look down here at my notes. You know, if you were frightened of something, if you're frightened of a specific animal, why are you afraid of it? What does that represent to you? What are the traits of the animal? Why are you afraid of it? Are you afraid of spiders? Okay. So if you're afraid of spiders, let's just say, are you afraid of expanding? Do you not like change? Do you not like to be a nurturer? Would you rather be nurtured? Are you high maintenance, basically? So the spider is going to represent being the nurturer to others and expanding your worldview, basically. It's also being creative, because when you think about how that web looks, it's very creative how they make the web. I think it would be so cool if they could make like a peace sign one time. So that is pretty much my talk about spirit animals, spirit totems. Know that you can represent a couple different ones. Let's say you have the dog, so that means you're very loyal, and the whale, so you're loyal to the people that you know are worthy of being loyal to, because you know that they're not BSing you, because you can hear who they are. And the dog, although is very loyal to a particular person, with the whale, maybe they're only loyal to one person. Maybe they only trust one person. So your spirit animals can change from time to time. You can choose your spirit animal, but your spirit animal generally chooses you. And it is that, to me, it's that thing that seems almost like nonsense. But the more you read about it, the more you open your mind about it, it's like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. I mean, I totally believe that there's spirit animals around us. I totally do. You know, it doesn't always have to go with your birth sign. Like I'm Leo. Of course, I love lions, but I also love panthers. You know, so sometimes it goes in conjunction with your zodiac. So, my goodness. Mm-hmm. There's Rebel. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. One of these days, hopefully in the future, I will be doing Tuesday Talks at 10:30 with this little dog behaving beside me, not chewing on me, not chewing on wires and cords and things like that, not growling, not acting like a crazy man. But right now he's still a pup. So I am booking appointments now for January. If you're interested in hosting a group at your location, at your home, if you're interested in a private, I do have gift certificates available for those who want to gift a reading to someone. You can just reach out to me. I don't have my January schedule together yet for Chambersburg here at Hip Gypsy Emporium, but I will be doing a group reading here in January, and I'm thinking about a past life regression as well, and I'll be putting that together here very, very soon. But Bel Air, we've got that all put together. Denise keeps me on track with that. January 23rd through the 25th with a group reading on the 24th. February 20th to the 22nd, group reading on the 21st, and a group past life regression on the 22nd. All those links are under the events. You just click there and grab your ticket. So today is every day. I pray that you are living the life you love and you're loving the life you live. If not, baby, you're the only one that can change it. Nobody else can change it for you. I will talk to you next Tuesday at 10:30. I hope you have a great and wonderful day, and look into your spirit animal. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.